What's up, everybody? So many shows, so many shows.com, so many mashups. This is Mike, this is Pete. This is an NFL playoff mashup slash coaching carousel. Woohoo! What's up, Mike?
Oh, yes. Breaking news from today, which we'll get to eventually, which led to our probably what we're going to rant about, rave about from Saturday's game. But yeah, great weekend of football. I mean, we had one blowout, the rest were pretty close and tight right up to the final buzzers. So yeah, it was a good weekend of football.
Time to crack a cold one and discuss this. So now let's start with football. Let's start with the games. I'm gonna skip the Bills. We're gonna save the Bills game for last.
Sounds good.
We're gonna just obviously there's not much. I mean, San Francisco gave it a valiant effort, but Seattle is now moved on to the next round.
Yep.
I fell asleep at halftime of the game for the Bears Rams, so I
Oh,
I
okay.
just saw the score. It ended up being overtime,
Yes, went into
but I also
overtime.
saw the highlight that they scored with 4 seconds left in the game, or four, I was 4th and 4 or something like that. Not 4 seconds, but 4th and 4, and he made
Yeah.
a amazing throw, and the guy ended up being open and caught the touchdown, the tight end.
Yes. Yeah. Caleb Williams, like he was running backwards from all the defenders coming down on him, and he just threw up a wing and a prayer, and it just so happened to be
Now,
caught in the end zone.
Now, all these experts are saying that this guy's really good, doing all these amazing things. He's a wizard, blah, 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 blah. I have been saying for years that this guy sucks, right? Now, I
Yes.
could be completely wrong, possibly, but the quarterbacks do get better over time, especially with good coaching. And we know Ben Johnson is a wizard himself. Do you think, because you see him twice a year with being Minnesota,
Yeah.
and do you think that this kid, from what you've seen so far in the playoffs in Minnesota, do you think that this is like a legit top five quarterback in the NFL?
I don't see it there yet. Obviously, it could always get to that point. I think yesterday's wing and a prayer throw just kind of showed that he, gets lucky from time to time, but he's still like in overtime throws a stupid pass and it gets intercepted. So
All
he's
right,
not a top five yet.
new game called Fast Forward, 30 years down the road. Williams, Caleb Williams. Hall of Famer or no?
I'll say yes.
Okay. So he's not there yet, but you think he's going to get there, like
Yeah,
soon.
well, it's only his second year in the league. I think he's started every game for the Bears since he was drafted. So he's still learning. And like you said, Ben Johnson has a way with getting quarterbacks to develop and everything. He did a great job with Jared Goff in Detroit. So yeah, I'd see him being a top five eventually down the road and possibly MVP down the road further than that. Yeah.
All right, back to reality. They lost that game and they are out.
Yes.
So now it's Rams versus Seattle, right? Is the
Yep.
first NFC Conference Championship. Now this game seems exciting. Anybody can win. Remember what happened last game, and I'm going to bring this up again. So the rule in the NFL, because we're going to discuss rules, because there's a lot of things, and this is all going to play into everything,
Okay.
and bring us to the Bills, which is my big rah rah rah. And it's not even in a bad way. So on that play, there was a 2 point conversion. Now, if there's a fumble, only the person that fumbled is allowed to pick up the football and advance the football. If anybody else picks up the football on that team, they cannot advance it. They pick it up 10 yards forward, 10 yards back. It gets brought back to the line of scrimmage. Next down. That's the
Yep.
rules on a regular play. Darnold threw the ball. This was against the Rams during the regular season. Remember, there was
Yep.
like that. I don't know if it was they went for two. It was a 2 point conversion, and they were trying to come back in that game because they were down big. And he threw it. The Rams guy hit it. So it bounced off the Rams guy's hand as it was going backwards, though. The pass was going backwards to begin with, bounced off the Rams guy's hands, bounced dead. Everybody stopped playing. The Seahawks guy picked it up. They called it a completed 2 point conversion, and they gave Seattle the 2 points, right?
That's right. I
Se-
remember that game. Yes.
yes. So now the ruling on the field was a fumble by Darnold.
Yep.
If Darnold fumbled the football and the first person to touch it was the offensive guy that's not Darnold, how could he advance it 2 yards to complete the 2 point conversion?
Yeah, I
So
remember
they
you
say
mentioning that when it happened. Yes.
they say the referees missed that. Then also they were talking about something else recently. Don't quote me on it, but they were supposed to put the line of scrimmage supposed to be the 35-yard line after kickoff, and they gave one of the teams the 40, and nobody saw it. It was on my feed earlier. I'll see if I can pull it back up later on.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, then so now that game was basically plays away. Seattle ended up winning that game, puts them in a home game situation now because I believe if the Rams would have won that game, the Rams might be at home for this
Mhm.
NFC Championship. I still, being a Jet guy, can't believe in Darnold. I have the Rams going to the Super Bowl. What about you?
Whoa, yeah, it's going to be I know I do that sound effect all the time, but it's Going to be a great matchup. We didn't get the greatest view of what the Niners could have done because of all the injuries piled up throughout the playoffs and regular season. Even McCaffrey was had a stinger that, and they had their backups in the fourth quarter, which was just kind of like waving the white flag there. So it's going to be a great matchup. I can see it being a really defensive battle. And if it is a defensive battle, I see it more the Rams advancing to the Super Bowl as well.
Just the better quarterback. I feel like actually I do love the Seattle coach. I feel like
Yeah.
the guy's really good.
Yeah, I agree. He's done an amazing job over the last 2 seasons, 3 seasons since he's been there, getting the team all set up and everything.
The Patriots played the Texans, and the Texans did nothing to help themselves.
No, in fact, CJ Stroud throwing the what, 5 interceptions, 4 interceptions? I lost count after the first quarter.
Yeah, so this is the same thing for Buffalo too. At the end of the day, you can say a call's controversial all you want and say that a call determined the game, but I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, if you get 5 turnovers in a playoff game, you're probably not going to win it and you don't deserve to win it. So call or no call. I mean, you could do that for anything. I thought that the Patriots just are a really good team that are playing together and playing really good. And, that's what I thought. Actually, Adam Scheffler actually reposted this on X, and Seth Wickersham was the original author of it 23 hours ago from the time we were recording this. To add to the playoffs officiating conversation, on the kickoff to start the second half when the Panthers kicked to the Rams, the ball was placed at the 40-yard line rather than the rule mandated 35. So that's what I was reading. So now here's my thing. The Buffalo Bills versus the Denver Broncos was a really good game, really close game, a battle back and forth. And Bills fans and a lot of other people are complaining that there was a pass interference called at the end of the game that shouldn't have been called.
Well, because there should have been one called against Denver that wasn't called earlier in the game, and it was looked pretty similar. But
And it was a
I
pass
agree.
interference
I
that was
agree.
called that determined the game because it put them in field goal range, right, to win the game.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, also earlier in that quarter, that was when they had the catch slash interception,
Yep.
where it looked like a catch, and some people thought it was a catch, some people thought it was an interception. The referees ruled interception, and right, that's what happened here.
Yeah, but there was no official review when all turnovers are supposed to be reviewed. So even McDermott called the timeout just to get more explanation or give the refs a few more seconds to decide if they want to actually review it or not. I thought it was a catch when it happened live. I was watching the game live and then pulled out after Brandon Cooks landed, knee down, ball secured. They roll over. All of a sudden, the Bronco has it. And, I'm like, that's a catch. It's supposed to be ties go to the offense when it's simultaneously caught pass. But
So here's my rant about everything. Where I come from, they call face guard, and if you don't turn around while the ball's in the air as a defender and you're all up in your receiver's face, it's called face guard and it's a penalty.
yep.
Where I come from, as a football fan my whole life, if the ball hits the ground, there is no surviving the ground. If the ball touches the ground, it is incomplete pass. That's how it used to
Mhm.
be back in the day, people. The
Yep.
ball could catch your hands. Once it hits the ground, it's incomplete. You couldn't. There's no, oh, well, I had the ball hit the ground, but my hands didn't move and the ball didn't move, so it counts as no. There was no, none of that.
Yes.
And the pass interference. So here's the thing: things were more consistent back in the day. If here's my beef. Okay, it was definitely pass interference. I'm not arguing that.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, was it a catch or an interception? I really don't know. I mean, I guess to me it could have been a catch. My whole thing is this with the pass interference call. The reason why I was pissed about it wasn't because it wasn't pass interference and they called pass interference. It's because they haven't called the same call all game long.
Yes.
So when you develop a pattern as a referee of not calling the call all game long, and then on a crucial play in the game you call that play, that's messed up in my mind.
I agree.
Because these guys have played for 58 minutes, 59 minutes now, and have been doing the same thing on every play, and nothing has been called. And they think that this is the way the game goes now, and then you're going to call it. A lot of these illegal formations it happens like that too, where the person's doing it for 3 quarters in the same setup. The referee has no problem with it. Now it's the fourth quarter, and for some reason it's third and 4, and they call the illegal formation as 3rd and 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the players have even questioned why are they doing this. However,
I'm sorry, I just want to jump in with that illegal formation. What pisses me off about it is if it is 3rd and 4, the defense can or the other team can decline the penalty and it's 4th and 4. Why it should be like a false start. It should be backed up 5 yards and replay the down. It's stupid that the defense can say, "Oh, we're not going to accept that penalty. Now it's 4th and 4. You got to punt or whatever." So,
Now here's my 2 points that are gonna kind of validate why I'm okay with what happened with the Buffalo and Denver game. The first thing is that if you look at baseball, you still have an umpire calling balls and strikes,
yep,
and every umpire has a different strike zone. So sometimes you're watching the game, and you're like, "Oh, this guy has a high strike zone, and he's calling the high fastball all day long, right?"
yep,
That's his zone. This guy is going to be a high fastball. He's going to call it for you every time. If you go low, he's going to call a ball. You just kind of know the referee. The NFL is very similar. Everybody's different. So some referees that call that an interception, the next game, because there was the game the next day, something similar happened, and they called it a catch,
yep,
and they were complaining, "Oh, ex-Buffalo fans." But the other referee from the other game wasn't the same referee from the game the night before.
exactly.
Different strike zones, different versions of what pass interference might be, different ways to call a game. It's human error. It happens in baseball. It happens in every sport. Referees are going to make mistakes. It happens.
Yeah,
The bottom line to me is this. We have 2 AFC championship games or 2 AFC whatever division games, and 2 of those teams had like we said before, 5+ turnovers. Don't come to me and tell me that a pass interference call cost your team the game when you had 5 turnovers or 6 turnovers and your quarterback had 3 of them.
yes,
That's my point. It's you lost the game. Unfortunately for Denver, you also got the ball for 5 extra possessions and still almost lost the game and then lost your quarterback, which tells me that New England's going to the Super Bowl to play against the Rams.
I agree. Yeah,
So
losing Bo Nix for next week's game. Yeah, the backup quarterback has only had 5 starts and he's 1-4 in those, and he hasn't started in 2 years. Yeah, I don't see them being much of a challenge. I mean, the defense for Denver is still really damn good. Don't get me
don't
wrong.
matter. The
But if
Patriots
you
are
don't
different.
have, if the Patriots are going to load up the box and say, if you're going to beat us with the quarterbacks that's
Listen,
only had
here's my
five
thing.
starts.
If the Texans would have won that game somehow, and it was the Texans versus the Broncos with a backup quarterback for Denver, I would say,
Mhm.
wow, this is a really cool matchup. I'm excited for this because because I don't believe in the Texans quarterback.
Yeah, CJ
I
didn't look good
I
last
just think
night.
to myself, how scary would a team like that be with like Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit. So come on. But yeah, no, I think, like I said, I think we're looking at, I mean, the Seahawks have been doing the thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did make it. I don't see Denver having a chance. And even with Bo Nix, I still would have said that New England was probably a 4 to 5 point favorite. The team is just working on all cylinders right now. And, I thought about this. What makes New England great? Because they had how many wins this season? Whatever. They're in the situation they're in.
13-14. Yep.
How many players can you name on that team?
Well, a few offensive players, but that's about it. Because
No
I'm
more
not,
than five, right?
yeah, pretty much
So
five
you
or
got you
under.
got 22 starters and probably 8 backups that regularly play in their
Yep.
formation because of third downs and extra tight ends. And combined, we could only name 8.
Yeah.
And that team is going to the Super Bowl. That's how you know about greatness. Unfortunately for us, we thought that when the Chiefs took a break, it wouldn't go right back to the Patriots. It would have been a different team to take over as a dynasty. Unfortunately for us,
Yeah.
it doesn't. And apparently around here, it doesn't matter how far you get. If you don't win the championship, you lose your coach because you want to break the Bills news.
Yeah. Sean McDermott fired today after 9 seasons with the team. They said it's because he didn't have a great playoff record. I still, this kind of irritated me too today. It's like, okay, because that catch wasn't called a catch and it was called interception, these refs just got a head coach fired. I mean,
And you know
I
what? I'm
like
going
to
to
say
disagree
it's
with
the
you a
five
thousand percent
turnovers.
here. This guy has had Josh Allen and done nothing to put a real team around him because we can't name the 8 guys on the Patriots. Oh, Stefan Diggs. I can't name you 5 guys on the Bills that aren't Cook and Allen. I mean, so
I get
their
that, but like I
team.
said, that also goes to the GM though too. McDermott isn't GMing. Maybe he might say, "I want this player, that player," and they don't get him, or they do get him, but they don't
My
have a
whole
number
thing,
one receiver
my, my
in the
thing is
Bills.
my thing is this. You put Josh Allen with the Rams with that offense and those receivers,
Oh yeah,
and this team is probably undefeated and can't be touched.
yeah,
You
exactly.
put you put Stafford on the Bills, you probably make the playoffs and lose in the first round because
Yep.
you don't have talent around. Like, and don't get me wrong, this is the number one Russian team in football. This offensive line
Yes.
played their game, but they're not loaded up where you need to be loaded up when it comes to these games. And that's not Josh Allen's fault, and we all know that Josh Allen's done everything he can. They keep losing the big one,
Yep.
and it's the coach. The coach is just not being able to help him to turn that corner. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. What I'm saying is he's been a bad fit for a few years now, and Josh Allen is that good.
I get that.
That's my thing. Like so, since the last time we spoke, however, the only thing we really had was that we had Harbaugh was fired.
Tomlin
Then
stepped down. We had Harbaugh
I don't
fired.
think we had Tomlin stepping down. That was
We
we never
didn't have
discussed that
Tomlin stepping down, no, but we had
because
Harbaugh being fired. So
yeah, that's all we really discussed. But a lot of stuff
yep.
has happened since then.
Yes, a bunch of stuff happened
Yeah,
since
so
then.
Tomlin has stepped down. Tomlin is now a free agent. He said he doesn't want to go anywhere cold. He wants to go somewhere warm. Miami would be a perfect fit for Tomlin. I got Tomlin landing in Miami when this is all said and done. If not Miami, Arizona. Or
Like he
actually, you know what? Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee? I don't see him going to Tennessee. If
I
I'd
do.
see Arizona or Miami, if he even takes a job. I've heard that he wants to take a year off, do the broadcast thing or whatever. But who
Man,
knows?
everybody
Who
says
knows?
that. Listen, all I
I
know
know,
is
who
they
knows?
said a bunch of people are going to get fired and a bunch of people got fired. So next
Yep,
time I hear chatter, I'm going to listen because it doesn't matter what you do anymore. You just get fired no matter what.
exactly.
The
I was happy about my Stefanski call.
I was
You
about to
asked
say, yeah,
me,
he's on Atlanta now.
yep. I
He's
called that, so I was happy about that. Now he's got an offense that's pretty well built. Let's see how he does, but
let's see who he starts at quarterback and go from there. That'll be his
exactly.
next thing. Who else did we discuss? So I also, now that there's a Buffalo vacancy, who do you see being a good fit out of the coaches that are available that might be who like if you had to play matchmaker, who's your match in Buffalo?
Oh.
Because I have a weird one, but I think that what's his name? McDaniel from Miami.
Oh, okay. I could
I think
see
you
that
put him
too.
in Buffalo with Josh Allen and his creativeness, he could probably come up with some shit because he's been doing some good stuff with
Yeah.
Tua for a long time.
I'm saying I think they go offensive minded. I think McDermott was more of a defensive minded coach. So I wouldn't see him I wouldn't put it past Ian McDaniels being the next head coach or Mike McCarthy. Those both are offensive minded
So I heard
coaches.
McCarthy was going for his second or third interview with Tennessee.
Okay. But now that Buffalo opened up, who knows?
Yeah, but nobody wants to go to Buffalo. You know how cold it is there. They're not even building a dome.
Well, they're not building a dome. The new stadium's not a dome.
I don't know. I was just making that up. Don't
Okay,
listen to me,
I know
people.
there's a new stadium's going to open next year, but and it's being built right next door to the current stadium. I haven't seen if it was going to be a dome or not.
Now, before we put a pin on this, Harbaugh went to the Giants.
Yep.
He got good money. He got a lot of control. The Giants, they believe that he has his base set for a while. Do you think the Giants will be good with? And now I know that you're gonna say Harbaugh will have the Giants being decent or good or whatever. But my question is Dart, Scatterbo, and Neighbors, are those the three that are gonna be great with Harbaugh? Or well, I mean, we all know Neighbors is gonna be there no matter what. But is Scatterbo and Dart the running back and the quarterback of Harbaugh's future to run this operation and have the Giants make a run at a Super Bowl? Or do you see one of these two guys get him changed out and not fitting Harbaugh's style?
I see him fitting the style. I don't know if they did a lot of RPO when the two coaches that were in there, Mike Kafka and Dable before that. I don't know if they did a lot of RPO stuff before, but I could see Harbaugh kind of utilizing those two players to keep the offense intact.
And you think that those three with Harbaugh, say those four, call them the four horsemen of the Giants, do you think they can make it to the Super Bowl?
Not
I
year
do not.
one.
For the
I don't
record,
see it.
it's not going to happen.
I don't see it in the first 2 or 3 seasons, but I could see it 5 years down the road.
Harbaugh's from Baltimore, man. He's on the Giants now. He's in Jerry's world. Dallas Cowboys and letting that shit happen. Shout out to Jerry Jones, who's a sick maniac, and I love him for it because he's a man. If only I was a Cowboys fan. Only if I
Exactly.
was. But so real quick, Dante Moore, the quarterback of Oregon, who was projected to go number 2 in the draft overall to the New York Jets, said, "I don't want to do that anymore, and I'm going to go back to school, so I don't have this poor thing happening to me." We still have Mendoza going with the Raiders at number 1, and basically just we'll end this with college. We have a big college football game in a few hours. It's Indiana University's undefeated versus the Miami Hurricanes. They are 1 touchdown favorites. Indiana is. Miami was the 10 seed. Miami was the number 1 seed in the playoffs for college football. Will you be watching the game? And if so, who do you like?
I won't be watching the game, but I'll try to check the highlights out tomorrow at some point. But I mean, Indiana's undefeated, so I keep hearing Indiana, Indiana, Indiana. So I'm guessing Indiana's going to win tonight.
No, here's the thing. It's not a home game because the national title. However, it just happens to be that the national title this year is in Miami Hurricane Stadium.
Yep, it's weird.
So I've been against Miami this whole time. The only thing that makes me think is that Miami's a gritty team. They've had some battles. I watched it because I've been big on this college football playoffs. Indiana seems like the unstoppable monster, but if I learned anything from football and theatrics and everything else and the pageantry, it's nothing better than having a big Indiana Hoosier team coming out undefeated. Nobody can touch them. The biggest lineman in football, one of the greatest coaching minds versus the, outlaws of the Miami Hurricanes. And then, here we go. It's the fourth quarter and Indiana misses a field goal to go ahead by 2 touchdowns. And, Miami scores and goes for 2 or whatever it may be. And, here we go. And, Michael Irvin's on the sidelines going nuts. And it's a big deal. I got Miami upsetting, shocking the world at the 10 seed because if there's anything the college football playoff wants, it's a 10 seed winning so they could. Plus, remember, Miami, there was a big controversy with Miami getting over Notre Dame when Notre Dame said that they boycott all bowls.
Yep.
And now that actually affected Notre Dame's schedule because teams don't want to play them because there's a lot of inner politics going on that I'm not going to discuss. But I do want to ask you, because I forgot to ask you before, and I'm going to end it on this. I wasn't awake, but the Bears, we saw that big play where they were down 17-10 and scored a touchdown, right? With 4 seconds left in that game. So they were down 17-16 at that point.
Yep.
And lost 20-17.
Yes.
I thought for sure if you would have asked me yesterday afternoon, hey, if they're in the scenario, what happens? I say Ben Johnson goes for 2 in the win. He didn't, obviously.
Yep. I thought the same thing. I'm like, here they go for 2. And then when they're lined up for a field goal, I'm like, okay, they're going to fake it. I wouldn't fake it from that far out, but he kicked the field goal to tie. And I was surprised too.
So I don't know what he was thinking. I wasn't watching. I was sleeping. Bad on me. However,
I was
will say,
watching and double or questioning the.
I will say that it sounds like to me like Ben Johnson deviated away from everything that he stands for, and it cost him the game.
Yep. Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
I agree.
Anything else before we say goodbye?
Breaking news. Dolphins expected to hire Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley as their next head coach.
Oh, that guy's good. Okay, that makes more sense.
Right.
Also, on a side note, also LaFleur is getting an extension. They're discussing the extension. It's guaranteed the extension because of all the chatter. So we had some question marks, but
yeah,
that's where we're at right now, and we'll see what happens. And more if that spot goes, maybe Tomlin to Tennessee, Tomlin to Arizona. I can see Tomlin to Arizona with Brissett.
I'd see that before Tennessee.
He just said he didn't want to go anywhere cold. So as long as he stays warm, Tomlin's. I wish the Jets would fire Glenn and get Tomlin, if you want my opinion, because Tomlin. I would die to be where he was after the last 18 years as far as record wise. But
exactly.
Yep, that's it. So many shows, so many shows.com, so many mashups. This is NFL. We'll be back next week with our Super Bowl predictions officially. This is Mike. This is Pete. See you later.
Talk to you on the next one, everybody. And remember, you can find us on YouTube temporarily as our site is under maintenance. Have a great week and talk to you on the next one.
35 red, blue.